Good Thursday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversational Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up today. We have the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you're being part of my conversation with nationally recognized allergist, Dr. Tonya Elliott. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Thursday headlines. In national news, Biden to the nation, we're turning peril into possibility. President Joe Biden used his first joint address to Congress to declare the nation is turning peril into possibility, crisis into opportunity, urging a $1.8 trillion investment in children, families, and education that would fundamentally transform roles the government plays in Americans' lives. Biden marked his first 100 days in office as the nation emerges from a confluence of crisis, making his case Wednesday night before a pared-down gathering of mask-wearing legislators because of the coronavirus restrictions. The speech took place in the U.S. Capitol, surrounded by fencing, after insurrectionists in January, protesting his election, stormed to the doors of the House chamber, where he spoke. In the nationally televised ritual of a president standing before Congress, Biden laid out his sweeping proposal for universal preschool, 2 years of free community college, $225 billion for child care, and monthly payments of at least $250 to parents. His ideas target frailties that were uncovered by the pandemic, and he made the case that economic growth would best come from taxing the rich to help the middle class and the poor. For Biden, whose moment has been nearly a half-century in the making, his speech also provided an update on progress in combating the COVID-19 crisis he was elected to tame, showcasing hundreds of millions of vaccinations and relief checks delivered to help offset the devastation wrought by a virus that has now killed more than 573,000 people in the United States alone. He also championed his $2.3 trillion infrastructure plan, a staggering figure to be financed by higher taxes on corporations. Seizing an opportunity born of calamity, Biden has embraced momentous action over incremental change. But he will be forced to thread the needle between Republicans who cry government overreach and some Democrats who fear he won't go big enough. The Democratic president's strategy is to sidestep the polarization and make his appeal directly to voters. His primetime speech underscored a trio of central campaign promises: to manage the deadly pandemic, to turn down the tension in Washington in the aftermath of the insurrection, and to restore faith in government as an effective force for good. No American politician has more familiarity with the presidential address to Congress than Biden. He spent 3 decades in the audience as a senator and 8 years as vice president, seated behind President Barack Obama during the annual address. But this year's scene at the front of the House chamber was a historic look. For the first time, a female vice president, Kamala Harris, seated behind the chief executive, and she was seated next to another woman, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. In more national news, feds raid Giuliani's home, office, escalating a criminal probe. Federal agents raided Rudy Giuliani's Manhattan home and office on Wednesday, seizing computers and cell phones in a major escalation of the Justice Department's investigation into the business dealings of former President Donald Trump's personal lawyer. Giuliani, the 76-year-old former New York mayor, once celebrated for his leadership after 9/11, has been under federal scrutiny for several years over his ties to Ukraine. The dual searches sent the strongest signal yet that he could eventually face federal charges. In more national news, judge won't release videos of deputies shooting man. A judge refused Wednesday to release body camera video showing North Carolina deputies shooting and killing a man, ruling that making the video public at this stage could jeopardize the investigation into Andrew Brown Jr.'s death. However, the judge did order authorities to allow Brown's family to privately view 5 videos from body cameras and 1 from a dashboard camera within 10 days, with some portions blurred or redacted. Family members had previously been allowed to view only a 20-second clip from a single body camera. In international news, India grieves 200,000 dead, with many more probably uncounted. Stories of death tangled in bureaucracy and breakdowns have been dismally common in India, where deaths on Wednesday officially surged past 200,000, but the true death toll is believed to be far higher. And finally, in entertainment news, Al Smith, Grammy-winning engineer and producer, dead at 91. 20-time Grammy winner Al Smith, whose extraordinary career as a recording engineer and producer, including albums by Bob Dylan, Ray Charles, Frank Sinatra, and many others, over the past 60 years, has died. Smith's family announced on Facebook that he died on Monday without identifying a specific cause. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, it's all yours.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Aggression masks your fears. Aggressive behavior is not loving. Therefore, it must come from fear. So when you find yourself becoming aggressive, stop and ask yourself, what fear am I dealing with right now? Are you fearful over your job, money, or any other financial worries? Are you fearful your relationship is breaking up, or you want to break it up and you don't know how to go about it? Are you fearful about your children or other family members? Are you carrying around any fears of any possible illness, either real or imagined? Are you stuck and think there is no solution in sight? Whatever fear is running you, there is one truth that can add in your healing. You are never upset for the reason you think. Whatever you think is upsetting is simply your ego's way of trying to protect you. It is not protecting you. It is keeping you away from knowing your truth and knowing your true success in our world. When you find yourself becoming angry, fearful, or aggressive, stop and ask yourself, what am I really upset about? And remember, enjoy the day.
Dr. Tanya Elliott is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight right here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Entertainment Spotlight. Nationally recognized allergist Dr. Tanya Elliott joined me recently on Conversations Live, the radio show, to share with you guys 3 tips to help the millions of allergy sufferers out there. Here's a bit of that conversation.
Yeah, so, 3 key tips that I recommend because, there are more than 50 million people that suffer from allergies every year, and it's actually the 6th leading cause of chronic illness. So, allergies are a real thing and really considered, a medical condition. It's important to, number 1, recognize the signs. So when is it that you're having these allergy symptoms? Is it when you wake up every morning? Is it when you're outside mowing the lawn? Is it when you're around your pets? Is it, maybe when you're even going to sleep in your bed, and that's where dust mite allergy lives. So it's really important to first recognize sort of when it is and the timing of your symptoms, what time of year, all of those pieces. The second is to then meet with an allergy specialist who can actually work with you, do some detective work to identify exactly what it is that you're allergic to, and then do an allergy test to confirm that. And then the third is a combination of both some lifestyle modifications as well as treatment therapies based on what exactly it is that you're allergic to. So if you're having, sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, runny nose, nasal congestion, my go-to has always been a nasal spray like Flonase, Sensimist, that you don't feel anything when you spray it in your nose, and it helps to kind of combat all of those symptoms. So essentially getting all-in-one relief without any of the side effects from that you get from lots of nasal sprays, which is kind of like the drainage and drip down the back of your throat or a perfumey taste. You don't get that with Flonase Sensimist.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll be with you guys on tomorrow to wrap up this week and this month. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make today a great one. Take care.